Okay.
And I gotta slide over a little bit.
Sorry.
Alright, welcome to our 10th episode. Tonight we're going to be doing the Suicide Squad in the DC Universe. And I wanted to go over a couple of things that was going on earlier this week in the news and whatnot. We had Kenny Baker, the actor who played R2-D2 for, well, all
six episodes.
Yeah, 6 movies, plus a couple of odds and ends. And he passed away today, I think, at age 81.
81, yes, sir.
And there's some news on the Aquaman movie. They've actually said that it's going to be Black Manta is going to be the villain.
Who?
And other than that, there's really not a whole lot more. You got anything?
On Black Manta or Kenny Baker?
Either or.
Well, I think that I was devastated to find out that Kenny Baker had passed away. Being born the same year that Star Wars originally was on the theater and stuff like that. Just really kind of broke my heart because he was one of those guys that you just was never given a chance to survive as long as he did and everything, and to make it at the age of 81. God bless and Godspeed R2-D2. As far as Black Manta, I really don't give a shit.
Hey Randy, you got anything?
Well, I think Baker was nice that he was one of the few people that's around for all the movies.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You look at all 6 of them, and he was one of the few people that made it through them all, and that was pretty remarkable.
Yes, sir.
I hate to see him go too.
As tragic as it is, that's one of those things that is just life. But a legend has left us, and that's all we can say.
Hey, Trace, what do you think about Black Manta being Aquaman villain for the Aquaman movie?
Well, I mean, I'm not too familiar on all Aquaman. That's one where it gets kind of fuzzy. Is
it from all the drinking?
Probably. Aquaman just never, I guess, stood out to me for some reason. Although I think the guy that's going to be playing it, I think he's going to be pretty good. Probably toughen up the part a little bit, looks like, from the trailer that I saw of Justice League.
Well, that and he just looks like a lot gruffer and rough-edged. I think he looks more interesting.
Well, let's start beginning, if you don't mind me interrupting. Let's start. We've already talked about Batman versus Superman and everything like that. So, Suicide Squad, because that's going to give birth to Justice League. That's going to give birth to Aquaman. So, let's start at the beginning.
Alright. As for me, I loved it. I thought it was a pretty damn good movie. It had a few awkward things in it that I can care for, but pound for pound, the movie, I loved it. I thought they did a good job picking out Harley Quinn. I'm still kind of up in the air on the new Joker, but I didn't get to see enough of him to really make a good call, because this movie wasn't centered around him. He was just kind of a character that was a side note.
Well, you do know what that is, don't you?
Yeah, because he's a character that was a side note.
No. Actually, his character pissed off, or actually the actor had pissed off Will Smith so much that they ended up starting cutting his scenes and stuff so that they didn't have to pay him so much money.
I had not read that anywhere.
I can pull up the article on Yahoo.
I hadn't heard anything about that. I know he did a lot of goofy stuff, like sending people odd packages and stuff like that to kind of...
Well, there was several of them that said they never met Jared Leto. But he always stayed in character, evidently.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read that too. He said he never broke character through the whole filming of the movie.
Well, let's not take away from everybody else. Let's start off to the right. My right. Randy, what did you think of the movie? You said you saw, correct?
Yeah, I saw it. It was a mixed bag for me.
Okay.
The problem I had with it, I really only had one problem with it. They took some of the worst characters, the biggest villains of the DC universe, and made them sympathetic and heroic.
Well, we talked about that probably over a year ago, and
I really have a problem. I really have a problem with that. I mean, when I sit there and I see the Croc, who eats people. I mean, this is a guy that eats people. He doesn't have very many redeeming qualities. And in this movie, he's a team player. He's going to take one for the team. He goes and shoots in the sewers to do what he can. He says he's found him a family. That's just not the Croc.
Well, and another, if I can intervene, he's like 7'7".
Yeah, well, the physical appearances, I like what they did with him, is it was all physical effects, and they didn't try to CGI him. And I thought he looked good for what he was. I didn't have any problems with that, really.
No.
The problems I just had were the character. When you take all these bad people and you make heroes out of them, and then you structure the movie around them, and it was more about how heroic they were and how they were compassionate, trying to bring sympathy up for them, and that was more of the thrust of the movie than actually accomplishing whatever goals they were out to do. I almost had an idea that the Enchantress deal was almost just tacked on at the end. They never really told you what she was doing. Why was she trying to take over the world, and what was this ray that was blasting everything, and this weapon they kept talking about? They never really told you what it was. I mean, it was just sort of a...
You kind of get the feeling it's like Batman versus Superman, like there's a bunch of components that are MIA.
Yeah, they never really told you anything about this character other than she was bad and they had to do something with her.
It was everywhere.
Most of the movie was just how sympathetic all these bad guys were supposed to be, that you just spent your whole life, or at least I have, watch them eat people, kill people. They're not sympathetic people. They're pretty...
It's the same bad guys we've been watching too, Randy. And I agree with you completely. Especially the one part that I had a problem with was where Enchantress had nothing. It was like, what's she doing?
Well, they never told you what she was doing. I don't really know what she's doing, but I guess that's okay. I mean, maybe I don't have to know, but it just didn't. It just felt like a tacked on part of the plot rather than a focus of the movie, which was supposed to be trying to stop her. Really, the focus.
The villain's getting abused by the government,
the system.
Right. It was really the focus of the movie was how terrible Diablo felt, and how Will Smith needs to go see his daughter, and how Killer Croc's really a nice guy at heart. That was the focus of the movie to me.
About all those goddamn liberals.
Yeah, and I had a little trouble with it.
Trace, what you cue off here?
I haven't watched it yet. I wanted to, but I mean, I'm hearing. Do you feel like DC so far is just not organized with any of this stuff?
Absolutely.
I mean, you see somebody like Marvel. Everything seems to be falling into place just about. And then DC, granted, Batman versus Superman, I've watched it several times, and I have grown to like it a little bit more, although I think they need to add more Batman to it, but hopefully that's what they'll do in Justice League. But it's just, I mean, from what is it, Duke? Randy? Is that it?
Yeah, Randy.
What he said, it sounds like it's so misorganized, even because when I first watched Batman versus Superman, I was just like, now what did I just watch? You know, and then I had to watch it several times to even make sense of it. So,
well, I would have to say this much. Gal Gadot is Wonder Woman. Yeah, fantastic.
I think the guy doing Batman, the guy doing I think Ben Affleck is Batman, and the guy doing Superman are doing fine. I think it's more script issues and.
Yeah, that's the problem I had with Suicide Squad. I mean, the people in it are great. Harley Quinn is. I mean, I'd like to just see the whole movie with her in it.
They're working on that.
They're working on that. Yes, they are.
They're going to work on that with Batgirl, I think, or something like that.
That'll be nice.
Yep.
And I didn't have any trouble with the Joker. I mean, I don't think that's a particular Joker character that I might want to raise up to my number one on the list. But I mean, I didn't have any trouble with him.
No.
And Will Smith was great. Deadshot. You know, I didn't have any trouble with, and the dialogue was really sharp. And the movie moved real well. I mean, it didn't drag. It took you in, and from start to finish, it moved along at a good clip. It wasn't boring.
They just missed the mark on where they needed to stay focused.
I think that's true.
Garrett, what did you think about the movie?
I thought that it was weird that the bad guys were acting like the good guys, and I just didn't care for it because it just started. It
felt awkward.
Yeah, and I'm expecting for the villains to be villains.
Have you seen any of the Suicide Squad comics, Garrett?
No.
Well, they are villains in the comics. You know, they didn't whitewash them in the funny books. If you read them there, they're pretty nasty people.
And trust me on this, Garrett. As far as a comic expert, Randy is far more than I ever could excel to be.
But you might like the comics. It'd be worth a read.
We've actually been thinking about catching one of those free comic days and take him and Rebecca up and let them check out some comics and get some comics they like, because they have those low cost days or something like that where they're real dirt cheap.
Well, I'll let his sister borrow Rhiannon, the oldest of Bubby's children. I'll let her borrow A Death in the Family. And, it's one of those ones that I'm like, you don't let him read this because I don't think he's old enough, and stuff, because it's pretty graphic.
Yeah, well, Death in the Family is one of those classics. I mean, it's like
yes, sir.
Killing Joke, and it's like,
yes.
The Dark Knight. It's one of those. Eventually, you got to read them things. But I agree with you. I don't believe the kids ought to be reading that. I think teenagers maybe.
Yeah, I think it was more aimed towards an older group. And it's kind of like video games. A lot of times they'll have it made for a certain age group, and parents don't really look at the cover or look at the content, and younger ones end up getting a hold of it, and it causes problems that way.
Of course, The Killing Joke is out now. I guess probably everyone's seen that.
Yeah.
I did get to see it.
I have seen that.
I have not.
Outstanding. I thought it was outstanding.
My first impression was, what a great movie, and then after I thought about it, I was like, you cut off the first 30 minutes of that movie and start right where The Killing Joke starts, and it would have been perfect.
Well, that first 30 minutes on that movie wasn't even in the book.
Right.
They added that in to make it long enough to be a movie.
Well, I haven't seen it myself. I do own the graphic novel.
Read the graphic novel. It about the first 30 minutes of that movie isn't in that graphic novel. They added that.
I've heard that.
Because when they filmed the graphic novel, it was only about 40 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta be honest, it almost goes verbatim in some of the dialogue.
It does. And it looks just like the comic too. They went to great lengths to capture the look and the artwork.
And having Mark Hamill, and I think his name's Conroy, or
Kevin Conroy.
Yeah, coming back for Batman and Joker was just kind of the icing on the cake for it.
Well, you're talking about the same people that did, the voice for the Batman and Joker and all of the Arkham series for the video games, as well as the animated series and multiple movies.
Well, Mark actually retired.
Yes.
And then when they announced that they were going to make the Killing Joke, he said he would do it.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the only reason why he'd come back. And
But that's one way to get him to make it.
mm-hmm.
I heard that too. I think it's probably true.
Well, I'm wondering if he brought his robotic right hand with him.
But Killing Joke is about the only Batman thing I've read, comic that was actually about the Joker, not about Batman.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's really interesting.
It's a different point of view. It's kind of like Rob Zombie's version of Halloween, where you see all the events of the movie kind of happen from the opposite perspective, and it's kind of a new twist.
I think it's great. The Joker's so desperate to not blame himself for his craziness and how he cracked. He comes up with this idea. It's just one bad day that separates everyone from him. So he goes to prove it, and he found out it's not really true. He really is just crazy.
I think it's funny they kind of, on the Flash TV show, they kind of made a reference to that. I think one of the villains in that series had come up to the Flash, or no, it was Daredevil, made a reference to that, because the Punisher looks at Daredevil and he goes, "You're one bad day away from being me." And I thought it was kind of funny that a Marvel show kind of borrowed that.
Well, I mean, it's more than obvious that Marvel definitely, after Batman vs. Superman, the Suicide Squad, the last debacle before all those two movies. What was the name of it? Batman or Superman? Oh, Man of Steel. That they're just grasping at straws, trying to do better. They're one director away from making a great movie. They're one writer away from making a great movie because, in my honest opinion, that's the reason I'm wearing a Batman shirt right now. He hates the Christopher Nolan Batman series.
Other than
Really?
Yeah, if it wasn't for Heath Ledger, I'd honestly consider that like the darkest the worst of the Batman movies.
God. If I had a pistol, you'd watch me shoot him in the brain.
But show me one comic where that Batmobile looks like whatever that's supposed to be.
It was original.
Oh, don't get me started on Batmobiles.
Oh, we pulled the hair, so here we go. Randy, go fire away.
No, I'm not going to get started on Batmobiles.
Wasn't that Batman and Robin that they had the neon lights underneath it?
Yeah. Oh, they've been some atrocious Batmobiles. That Tumbler.
Whatever in the hell that was. And
whatever the hell that was supposed to be.
The best one was still the one that Adam West wrote.
That's absolutely right. The best Batmobile was the one from the TV series.
I know you already know this one, Randy, so just stay quiet on this. Do y'all know what model car that was?
I know it's a vet.
Nope.
What was it?
Randy?
No, go ahead.
It was a Lincoln.
Was it an old Lincoln?
It was
it was one of those cars of the future from one of the World's Fairs.
Yeah, it was a concept car that Lincoln had made. And
I don't know. I always thought, as far as like the '89 and newer Batman's, the best Batmobile was probably the '89 Batman.
88.
Or no, it's '89.
Was it 89?
Yeah.
It's 89.
Shut up, Trace. Nobody fucking asked you.
I don't know. I just kind of felt like that was one of the better looking and the more believable of the bunch.
I was going to say believable.
So what was our other subject?
Hmm?
What was our other subject?
Well, the whole DC universe. You know, there's more than just Batman versus Superman and Justice League. There's Aquaman movie coming. Wonder Woman looks really good.
Actually, that's one of the things that I'm like really upset me was because I was like, I was so psyched for Suicide Squad, and then I saw it and I was like, oh shit.
Oh, it wasn't that bad. I kind of enjoyed it.
I did too.
Come on, Randy.
Yeah, I did. I enjoyed it. I mean, I gave you the reasons I thought I had problems with it, but I didn't dislike the movie. I don't want to give you the impression I hated the movie or anything.
Well, it's kind of like what we said the other day when we were talking on Skype. It was like, there are flaws in the movie. There's no question about it, and nobody will argue with you on that. But those flaws do not outweigh the overall, playthrough of the movie and the outcome, the acting. Well, the writing was really good.
Trace wants to speak.
Well, what I'm interested to see, because there was a big shakeup after Batman versus Superman. There's a big shakeup on the creative team. Wasn't there, like, Jeff Johns is now in control.
He's kind of like a guy that's over all the Marvel stuff.
Yeah.
He kind of helps organize all the different movies and the franchises so that they make a coherent sense.
But these changes weren't done until after Batman vs. Superman and Suicide Squad was shot. So, what's the next one up? Justice League?
Justice League of America.
Is it Justice League or is it Wonder Woman?
I believe it's
Justice
League.
For dinner is going to be pizza.
Wonder Woman's next June.
For dinner it's going to be pizza.
Hey, pizza's for dinner, yay. I get it.
Justice League is in November. So
So it is Wonder Woman first.
it is Wonder Woman.
Hey, Garrett, did you overall like it? The Suicide Squad movie?
Yeah, the only, besides criminals being good guys and the fact that the Joker wasn't Heath Ledger, those were my only two problems.
Yeah, the problem with Heath being the Joker is he's gone now, so he died. So there's no real way for him to play that character. I guess they could always Brandon Lee it.
Or they could dig him up, see how big of a smile he's got now.
If you go into the Suicide Squad, go in without an idea that it's going to look like the comics or that it's going to be. You just go in with an open mind and just say, this is basically another superhero movie, and just go with it rather than super villains and dark and all this sort of thing, because they don't really act like villains.
No.
They act more like heroes.
Well,
So it's really another superhero movie. If you go in with that attitude and just sit and watch it, it's not a bad movie.
Well, in a lot of ways, that's the way the Dark Knight was when, what's his name? He wrote Sin City and...
Miller?
Thank you, Miller. When Miller rewrote Batman, that was where Christopher Nolan got his inspiration for how to make, the Dark Knight series.
I've seen some of those Frank Miller books, and I still don't see where Nolan got his ideas from.
Well, Frank Miller did the best. And here's a topic for one of your shows: is what's the best movie made from comic books?
Oh,
and
there you go.
To me,
Hell.
hands down to me, Sin City.
Yeah.
Oh, very good, Randy.
And Miller's responsible for Sin City.
Well, it's the style of it, the look of it, the feel of it, the acting. The whole play out of that movie is just
cinematography.
Yeah, it's just awesome.
The dialogue's almost Shakespearean.
Mm-hmm.
Very
Sit
good.
and listen to the dialogue. It's amazing.
I haven't seen A Dame to Die For yet.
Well,
It's really good.
Really? Okay.
It's really good.
I'll
Very
check
good.
it out. If I was going to, expound on what Randy said, I would, think that the diversity, the ideal, the way that they did with the Dark Knight, hands down, and probably my best. And if we have an opportunity to do the next show with this, I'll expound on that. But
that's something everybody can take with you if you want to. It'd be a good topic, I think. You could take it away and think about it this week and run it by the rest of your crew.
Absolutely.
I know it's not DC Universe and it's not Suicide Squad per se, but the new Injustice game is it looks phenomenal.
I've seen it. It does look good.
I mean, the characters and how they interact with one another, it doesn't look real stiff and rigid like a lot of the fighting games can look when they're cheaply done. This looks like it's really well done.
But you know what the big topic for the week is?
What's that?
Shin Godzilla's out.
Oh,
Godzilla!
The new Godzilla in Japan's out. It came out last week. I wish we could get it over here.
Godzilla.
That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, we'll have to figure out a way to get our hands on a copy of that.
Oh, I'd love to have a copy of it.
So Trace, let me ask you this. Do you think that DC has done a good, better, or lackluster job of their movies than Marvel?
I mean, it just seems like they. At first, they're a hot mess right now. It seems like. I'm hoping that these shake-up that they made. I'm excited to see, because what the rumors are coming out is for the Batman solo film is he's going to be in Arkham, kind of like the games.
Yes.
Which could be an interesting.
That'd be
twist.
a much needed twist in the way they're doing things.
So
I would like to see him, Jared Leto, play that role as being the Joker that we saw in the first Arkham Asylum.
Yep.
Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
I think he could probably own that role too, doing it like that.
And I think somehow they can bring in Jason Todd. I'm assuming that's who the Robin suit was.
Yeah, I do too.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm assuming, but
well, the writer of that even said that was Jason Todd's suit.
Okay.
Yeah. So
the mystery on that one's over.
Yeah.
I'm curious if in the next Batman film, if that's sequentially, if they're layered sequentially, like the Batman v Superman happened, then Suicide Squad happened, then the next movie. I wonder if those are laid out sequentially, if they're supposed to happen at different intervals.
Well, we know Wonder Woman goes back to, what,
World War
1918?
I.
Yeah. Kind of like what they did with Captain America.
Yeah.
In World War II.
So, I mean, it's...
The reason why I wonder that is I'm wondering if maybe the next Batman film might take place before we saw Robin's outfit, and we get a cinematic portrayal of what happened to
A Death in the Family.
Yeah,
it could be,
because that would be a much needed story for DC to tell to kind of bolster the whole all those franchises up a little bit and get them on higher ground. Because I like Suicide Squad. I thought Batman v Superman was a move in the right direction. Thought Man of Steel 2 was okay. As you start going back, they get worse and worse and worse until you get to the Superman that was, I think, Richard Donner, wasn't it, Randy?
Well, if you go back far enough, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're talking like 1979.
I know, but you have all those movies in between then and Man of Steel that's like, all right, kind of.
Superman Returns was just
a turd.
It was weird. Now,
It
was
was so bad that you'd have better luck cleaning up, picking up a turd on the clean end.
My biggest peeve out of the whole Batman versus Superman was I could not grasp why they chose who they chose to be the Lex Luthor character. Why would Lex Luthor? And why was it somebody who really didn't, for me, fit that part at all? I mean, Lex kind of character is like a super genius. He's, well, very dignified in the way he carries himself, even though he's a bad guy. He's got a certain style, and none of that seemed to be present with that kid that was playing him. Or, well, he's playing his sons. But I just didn't get that whole aspect of it.
Well, I think that if you look at the entire universe as far as DC is concerned, there were so many superheroes and stuff like that. I mean, there's Captain Marvel and stuff like that was a part of the original Justice League and stuff like that. Martian Manhunter that they haven't introduced.
Yeah, they've introduced him, and see, this is where DC excels for me, is in TV. Martian Manhunter is a large part in the Supergirl series, and he is, every time he's on screen, in my opinion, he steals the show. The guy playing him does a good job. The makeup's reasonably good for television. And he is a badass, just like he is in the comics and all your animated films. Somebody changed shirts, Trace.
I see that.
There you go, buddy.
Batman power.
Somebody likes these Batman.
I do too.
We all.
Have you played any of the new Telltale game?
Yeah, I've watched about the first 15 minutes of gameplay, and it looks so fun.
Mm-hmm. I've played the first episode. That's the only one that's out right now.
It's just really well done. I hope they do more of the detective side of Batman, because that's what Batman's really about. Is how a normal human being can play with gods and not get himself killed.
Right.
Yeah.
It's because Bruce Wayne is smart enough to know to pick and choose his fights and what tools of the trade to use to get it done. And a lot of his criminals are diabolical.
I don't like the lighting in here.
Some of them are insane.
Well, technically several of them are.
Whenever you said well, it lagged my computer.
Hey Garrett, what did you think of Harley Quinn in that? See, I thought Margot Robbie, I thought she did a really good job with her.
I think she did too, really. If there was two characters that saved that movie, it would be Harley Quinn and the Joker. And it's just unfortunate that they cut all the scenes that was the Joker out of it, because Jared Leto's really pissed off, and he's publicly spoken about how a lot of his scenes were cut out of that movie.
Well, in all fairness, the movie was called Suicide Squad, and that doesn't include him. He was just a side component for storytelling, for Harley Quinn, and that's exactly what they used him for. If they had used him anymore, it would have become more of a Joker type thing.
Well, he was the only one that could save that movie from being a total turd, which is what it was.
Hey Trace, I'm kind of curious, as far as like the DCU, what's your biggest expectation right now? Is it just Justice League?
Well, I mean, of course, I thought I saw something, and I haven't had a chance to look it up yet, but somebody said that
wearing a Superman t-shirt,
Wonder Woman was needing some help or something something about the story was kind of off.
A little broken.
Yeah.
That's what I heard. But Justice League, I saw the trailer for it, and it looks pretty good. I'm still disappointed in their selection of the Flash. I would have gone with the guy from the television show, but
which they did.
Yeah.
Well,
so I mean, because I love that TV show.
Here's a good question: why in the hell does DC do such a good job with their TV series and then completely act like those actors have not owned those roles or defined those roles, and then just completely ignore them? It's like the most pissed off I ever was when I found out that the Barry Allen from the TV series would not be in the movies, and I thought it was kind of a cheap shot because that kid has done an A1 job.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm telling you, it's my favorite show on television. I mean, it's Arrow. I'm hoping that they come up with something better this season. It kind of lost me.
Well, the
last two seasons.
Arrow, I think, was the way I understood what I read was they were building up to Suicide Squad. Then they decided to make a film, so the order come down that they couldn't do that. So mid-season they had to rewrite the story and reroute the whole thing in a new direction and try to come up with that last minute.
I think Trace, if I could...
I think one reason they don't use the same actors on TV and the movies is production schedules.
That's true.
That guy's sitting there making these TV shows, and that's pretty much 5 and 6 day a week job while they're shooting, and then he doesn't really have time to go over and make a movie.
True.
Well, I think
you almost have to stop one or the other, and they don't really want to stagger them. They want them concurrent. So you almost have to get a new actor.
If I was going to pick, my favorite TV show on television right now, it's going to have to be Gotham.
I can barely hear you, Jacob.
I said if I was going to pick my favorite television show, it would be Gotham.
Gotham,
yeah.
It's alright, but...
No, whatever.
I watched all of it. It's okay, but... And I have no problem with the way they're doing it or the way they're introducing the villains, and we're getting to see them pre-Batman. I actually like that angle and everything, but if I have my choice between that, the Arrow, the Flash, or Supergirl, it's the Flash every time. And Supergirl's a strong too, because that show's shaped up really well. I mean, they've had some really beefy bad guys from the Superman world appear in it.
Main thing that show's got going for it's the lead actress. She's absolutely great.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you not like her?
I haven't watched it.
I highly recommend it. If you can tolerate about the first 3 episodes, it starts to dial in and get this really nice rhythm to it that goes on throughout the rest of it.
Okay.
I'll give it a shot. Next season, they're supposed to have Superman on it.
Yeah.
There was a rumor that I'd heard that they were toying with somehow having Batman make an appearance.
Well, they had Flash on there last year.
Yeah.
Last season.
Well, so are they toying with the idea of having Darkseid by Kevin Spacey, or... Christopher Walken as what's his name? It's going to be in the Aquaman movie.
Black Manta.
Black Manta.
Yeah. I lost it. I was trying to think of it, and it was just completely lost.
Well,
I'm not sure what they're going to do with Aquaman. You talk about your bottom of the barrel superheroes. When I was a kid growing up, I mean that guy was the joke.
He was rated the number 1 worst comic book hero of all time.
Well, that's
why they're doing a fucking movie with him is beyond me.
You know, you got, Superman. What can you do? I can do everything. I'm faster than a speeding bullet. What can you do, Aquaman? Well, I can talk to the fish.
My favorite thing in the world is Robot Chicken when it's like Wonder Woman, Superman, Green Lantern, and somebody else, and they look like they're sitting in Wonder Woman's invisible jet, and they're like, hurry up, come on, come on, and Aquaman comes running out, and he jumps up and lands on his butt, and then they fly away.
I remember that.
It's like he's the butt of the jokes all the time.
He is.
I mean, that green and orange suit he used to wear.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why. I mean, he never interested me. I don't think. I mean, that's why he was always a side character to me. It seemed like.
Yeah.
Well, I think I would like to flay him, put some lemon pepper on him, and enjoy him over a grill.
I didn't really start giving Aquaman a whole lot of thought until I'd seen him in some of the Justice League animations, and they did a little better job with him.
I like the line in the Justice League trailer that said, "So I hear you can talk to fish."
Well, he was really kind of each of those places used to rip each other's characters off, and he was a rip off of the Submariner.
Yes.
Namor.
But, nowhere close. Submariner's a good character. It was always interesting. I always enjoyed reading anything he was in, but they just missed the mark with Aquaman. But they share a lot of similarities about Atlantis and this and that and something else. But they just never really beefed up Aquaman enough to be of any interest.
He's got super strength and a couple other items like that, and
he can talk to fish.
They did
there we go.
They did a better job of portraying him in like some of the newer Justice League animations and stuff, but still he always felt like there was something missing to make him, more of an top tier kind of superhero.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of think of him as like in Justice League Unlimited, they had this big plethora of small guys that were like second and third tier, and it's like you always imagine Aquaman should be down there, but somebody at DC really likes that guy, so they just keep pushing him to the top, whether you want him there or not.
A lot of these guys, they came out of the 60s and 70s when the comic books were pretty good size. I mean, you could buy those annuals for 50 cents, and they had a lot of stories in them. Comic book now just, a few pages long. But they used to be very large, and they had a lot of stories. And the back stories, they needed these low-rent superheroes. They come up with all kind of crazy stuff.
But that's where Man?
Well, that's where Hawkman came from. I mean, what in the heck's Hawkman? Some guy with wings that flies around. I mean, he was nothing.
Meanwhile, Justice of Doom or whatever it was.
Legion.
Meanwhile, the Legion of Doom.
Green Arrow and these guys, they were always back there too. They were never at the top, but they tried to elevate these guys in the last few years.
Yes.
Now Green Lantern,
well, he was always
he always seemed like he was on par with like Superman and guys like that. But no matter how you slice the cake, when you look at Aquaman, you go, yeah, he's probably not going to take Superman in a fight or even stand up to Batman most of the time.
Well, because if he's not in water, he ain't worth shit.
Green Lantern was always an A-lister. He
was
always from the top, but
Green Lantern,
most of those other
Superman,
guys
even Batman.
Oh yeah, Batman was always at the top. He was always an A1 character.
Oh, Batman beat Superman.
So was a Flash.
Yeah.
These people were always the main characters.
I don't know if any of you guys had seen any of the Flash except for me, Garrett, and Trace, but they had Mark Hamill play the Trickster on there, and he did a pretty good job with that character. It was
Did he?
It was one of the kind of off the wall bad guys that Flash has, but he did such a good job with him. It was kind of fun to see him play.
I think he's supposed to be back.
Oh, they'll bring him back for sure.
Yeah, he's supposed to be back in episode 8.
Well, I know he's going to be in that, but
He's got the metal hand.
I always enjoy Mark Hamill about anything he does.
Mm-hmm. I did too, especially when he got his right hand chopped off by his father.
I like. There's a couple like '80s movies that I really didn't care for that he was in, but
Corvette Summer.
Yeah.
Remember that one, Randy?
Oh yeah, I like the Corvette. It looked like somebody made that out of Legos in their garage.
The movie didn't even have enough budget for a real one, did they?
It was a Corvette of some kind, but boy, the body on it was just incredible. I mean, it was. You'd have to see it to believe it. It was,
it was a Stingray style.
It's the ugliest car you've ever seen.
It's one of those where I saw that one time, I didn't finish the entire movie and just kind of went, ugh, and walked away from it and never came back.
You don't remember sitting here one night, I think it was on TNT, me and you watched it. I think I was 14, you was 16, and we sit there and watched that.
I watched part of that.
Okay. That was before alcohol.
Well, I've seen worse movies than that, but it's not very good.
Manos, the Hands of Fate.
Yeah, I know, that's bad.
He goes.
Hey, Garrett, I got a question for you. Out of the Justice League animations, which one did you like the best?
So, like, I have to go with Batman.
Well, like, which one of the series did you like best? The one that was just called Justice League, or the Unlimited that came after it that had all the huge cast of heroes?
Unlimited.
And Young Justice is another good one that they nailed on the head too.
I'm still working on the series.
Still working on the series. Well, you need to finish the series and let us know. So get started.
As soon as this is over, I will.
You got 13 minutes. Well, I expect a full report in the morning.
Trace, did you have anything you wanted to add to?
No, I'm hoping that DC gets it turned around for
Yes.
And do these characters justice, because I mean, when I was growing up, this Batman and Superman are the ones that I always heard about. Not any of the, well, except for Spider-Man on the Marvel side, but those are the iconic characters as I see them.
Yeah.
And if they can't turn that around with those characters, I don't know.
I'm wondering who it is that DC has directing. I think Bryan Singer sabotaged the whole damn thing. With Superman Returns. Like, I'm going to make sure Marvel wins.
Yeah.
Because
of course, Bryan Singer, then he went back to X-Men.
Yeah, and the next one he did was really good, but the one he didn't sucked.
Oh yeah. The one they erased with the. Pretty much they erased that third one. That's what I liked about it.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, it's like this one's so bad we'll just ignore it.
Well, no, they went back in time. Wolverine eradicated what was and everything like that.
So,
changed the course of.
Something I wanted to point out as far as like Suicide Squad went, is there's a whole host of female characters in that are downright badasses. One of them could be arguably one of the most powerful in the DC universe, which is Enchantress. All those characters were excellently played out. They were very strong characters and did not need anybody's help. They were badasses all around. And they did an excellent job of portraying those characters without pulling on like the old social justice warrior tropes, trying to make guy jokes the whole time or something like that. You know, basically Ghostbusters.
Well,
oh, Ghostbusters. Oh gosh.
Boy, I thought Randy was going to throw up on his desk there for a minute.
Just had to go run it all. We were talking, having a good time.
Having a good time,
and here you go, bringing that shit up.
Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch.
I don't know. It seemed like Ghostbusters was just one poor sexist joke after another, and it just, the actors did what they could with the script they had and everything, and I don't really think they're at fault. I don't really think the director's at fault. I think the concept was broken, wanting to completely redo the whole franchise after it had already been established and everything. And I don't know, they claim it was for trying to make women look better and stuff like that, but I don't think they succeeded. I think they kind of went the opposite direction with it. Whereas you look at stuff like most of the female characters in Marvel, most of the female characters in DC, and they're without a question very strong-willed, strong characters that stand on their own in a lot of cases, and they don't have to pull any, BS like that. They just let them shine on their own accord, and they do what they do, and everybody loves them for it.
Yeah, it's not like the old days where you'd say, "Hey, Sarah, sweet cheeks, why don't you make me and Superman a sandwich while we go whoop Lex Luthor?"
Yeah.
You know why? They ain't spraying no ghost.
It's like
I thought it was funny. Damn it!
Some of the older comics actually had stuff like that in it.
Yeah, it wasn't much. Wasn't too far from that.
Well, we got
these 50 science fiction movies. You ever watch one of them? There's always a woman up there in a spaceship while they're going to Mars or something, and she's always in making coffee and sandwiches while all the scientists are in there plotting on how to get home, and it's hilarious.
Well, here we go. We've got about 8 minutes left. So let's put a hypothetical question. Because I've been asked this before, and I think that it's a good question. Batman versus Iron Man.
I'd like to see that.
Who would win?
The guy with the homing missiles, and a much
The guy who beat an alien.
yeah, pretty much hauled a nuclear warhead through a gaping hole in the sky,
which Bruce Wayne could call on himself. So we'll just leave it at that. What do you think, Randy?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I think those characters are so, they basically have whatever technology they need at that moment to do whatever they need to do. So I don't know that you could really call a winner on that. They're both about equal as far as the tech.
I don't know. And see, this is where the problem is with Batman versus Superman. There is no reason ever that Superman and Batman, as their characters are played throughout all comic history, would ever need to fight one another. Batman would go to Superman and say, "Hey, there's a problem. Let's work together and get this solved. You're a badass. I'm a badass. Let's do this." It would not play out like Batman versus Superman, where Superman tries to kill him.
If it didn't play out with that, that is what I'm asking in the last 6 minutes now.
I don't think they'd have any need to. They would want to fight a bad guy.
Superman has an atomic bomb. He's pissed off. He's going to blow up the universe.
Which one is?
Superman.
That's probably a job for Darkseid, isn't it?
Something that Darth Vader and Darth Maul would have to deal with.
There's actually a comic of Darth Maul and Darth Vader, and Darth Maul loses.
Well, guys, I think we're going to wrap this one up a little early tonight.
We got 5 minutes.
You don't call this in 5 minutes?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Why not?
By the time we get all this wrapped up, it'll be about time.
Well, nobody. Well, Trace didn't get to say a thing.
Well, okay. Go ahead, Trace.
Trace, Batman versus Iron Man.
I would have to say Batman because he's an excellent strategist. I mean,
Thank you.
I mean, he's the guy that can take down the whole Justice League. Is he not?
That's a good point.
I mean, he has. I mean, he's
taken down.
If you noticed, even in Batman versus Superman, he had a strategy how to beat Batman or Superman.
Yeah, he thought ahead. He had the weapons he needed and the tools.
He didn't. Iron Man flies right in, doesn't plan anything. Which, don't get me wrong, I love Iron Man. I love the character, but Batman he'll be ready for you.
Yeah.
Whatever you got to throw at him, he'll be ready for you.
You might beat him in the first fight. The second fight,
yep,
you're done for.
Yep.
And that seems.
I mean, he would have
just something that happens a lot with Batman. Is that first round is usually not well for him. It's the second one where
he got his fucking back broke.
Well, I mean, if you look at Batman versus Superman, if Superman didn't say the word Martha, he would have killed Superman. So
yeah,
we got two Batman, one indecisive with Randy.
I'm kind of indecisive because I don't think there'd be any need for two heroes to fight.
Whatever.
It just doesn't make sense.
So the tiebreaker is Garrett. Garrett, who do you think would win between a fight between Batman and Iron Man?
Batman would, because first off, who's the one who beat, like, who's the one who had a broken back but still beat Bane? Not Iron Man.
That's a good point, Garrett.
Who he's also beat a Kryptonian. He's beat a whole lot of other things.
Well, your
He's
son's
beat
smart.
the Joker.
He's smarter than you, obviously.
Iron Man tried to take on the Hulk, but that didn't do too well.
No, it did not. He punched him through Stark Towers from the top floor to the bottom floor into the basement.
Well, he kept beating the Hulkbuster armor off of him, even though he had Nuke coming in on him.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought it was funny whenever he had the Hulk down and was going, "Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep."
That was funny.
You're my only hope. Go to sleep.
Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep.
Go sleep, go sleep.
Well, I'd like to thank everybody for showing up tonight and hopping in and talking DC with us, and I'd like to thank everybody for coming and watching and hanging out with us while we babbled and rambled, and we'll be back on next Saturday 10:30. Tonight was a great experiment. We were trying to stream live to Twitch versus YouTube tonight, see how the whole viewership thing moved and how the interaction was here versus over there. But we'll be back on YouTube probably next week, but it'll be at the 10:30 time as usual.
Well, I would like to thank Randy and Garrett and Trace for being on, and it's been an awesome experience. I haven't been on since the first broadcast, so thank you guys. It's been a pleasure.
And I'd also like to make a quick mention too that the reason why we missed last Saturday is I got ill and we had several of us on vacation. That's where Trace got his Bubba Gump hat.
Yep.
And we had a lot going on last week, so we just couldn't pull off an episode. I had a lot of messages and stuff about it, so I figured I'd apologize that we couldn't pull that one off.
Well, before you go, I think it'd probably be good if we just give a moment of silence for Kenny Baker.
Agreed. All right. Well,
God rest our duty too.
thanks a lot, guys.
See y'all later.
See y'all later.